Hey everybody, and welcome on into another video. My name is Ty. Thanks for clicking on this one. I don't want to bury the lead here. We got a long one. 2006, 20 years ago. Super hard to believe, but I want to talk about 20 albums, 20 records that are defining for me from the year 2006 that are turning 20 years old this year. Super hard to believe. Obviously, 2006 for me was high school years. So obviously a lot of this stuff is going to be formative. And when you're in your high school years, you have the most time in the world to spend on listening to music, buying records, disposable income, just going to CDs and albums and iTunes back in the day and diving into a world and worlds that were unknown to you. So a lot of this stuff is very formative for me, but for me, all of it still holds up, and I still listen to these records to this day, and it's been super fun the last few weeks spinning these and having a lot of nostalgia, man, thinking about what I was doing when I first heard this record or when I bought this record for the first time, stuff like that. So anyways, guys, if you like this stuff, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Subscribe, comment down below some of your favorite records from 2006 as well. So anyways, guys, let's get right into it. All right, let's talk about probably the best album I'll talk about. So let's start out with a banger here. And I'm going to try to go quick, but some of these I might talk for a little bit. So we got 20 albums to go through. But the band's sixth and final studio album, as of now, who knows? Maybe they could come back and make a record under this name. But Celtic Frost with Monotheist. This record is an absolute banger. It still holds up today. If this record dropped today, it would be easily the best record of 2026. Super heavy, super dark, massive riffs, very doomy but not boring. Kind of goth metal, symphonic at times. Just an absolute blending of genres. Blackened, thrashy stuff, just like I said, a great melding of genres in here. Great use of symphonics, female vocals, Tom's vocals on some of this sounds absolutely haunted, and what an amazing guitar tone and drum tone they achieved on this record. And yeah, just what a stellar release. Celtic Frost, Monotheist. Easily one of the best records of 2006. Alrighty, next up is one I actually don't own. I thought I had a physical of it, and I do not. But that is Dissection's Rhine Chaos. It's their third and final studio album by the Swedish band Dissection. And this record is way different than the previous two albums. The previous two albums from the band, the first two albums are better in my mind, but I enjoy this record quite a bit because it leans way into the Gothenburg Swedish melodeath sound that I absolutely adore. So it's super interesting and super different than the band's previous two records, and it's a shame we never got a follow-up, obviously, after John's death. There was never going to be one. So yeah, I really dig this record, though. I love the guitar tones that they get on it, and they really capture that Swedish melodeath sound really well. Again, considering their first two records are way more black metal than death metal, this is kind of like a blackened melodic death and roll, I should say, and it comes off really well. Super cool. Black Dragon, Starless Aeon, that's a really good song. God of Forbidden Light, that's a cool song. Lots of good songs to jam on this. So yeah, if you like the first two Dissection records and you never jammed Rhine Chaos, check it out. It's a good album. All right, next up is a little side project that the guys are actually reuniting this year for a 20th anniversary gig, which would be super cool. This is the only album by this band. They are a Norwegian black metal supergroup, and that is I, with Between Two Worlds. And this band features guys from Immortal, and guys from Gorgoroth, and guys from Enslaved. Demon Oz wrote the lyrics from Immortal, Abath on vocals and guitars. So think Immortal, but way more rock and roll inspired. If you want to do like blackened hard rock. That's this. Taking a lot of their influences and melding it into black metal. That's this record. It is super, super cool. This is actually like a promo version I got off Discogs. That's nice. Storm I Ride, a really good song. Warriors Between Two Worlds, the title track, really good. Check it out. Yeah, this one's hard to find. I hope it does get a reissue this year for the 20th. I know they are doing some shows, or a show at least, and playing this record, which would be very cool. But yeah, if you like Immortal and you haven't listened to this, check it out. If you want to kind of dive into some easier listening black metal, this is definitely for you, because if you're a fan of just hard rock and roll, and metal, you could definitely get into this. It's not super harsh. It's super catchy, super melodic, great soloing, good riffs. Abot's always good for good riffs. So check this one out. Next up, a massive record from my youth, a massive record from anybody's youth that is around most people's youth that's around my age, and that's The Killers. Probably the only non-metal, maybe a couple other just rock albums that I'll talk about today. But yeah, Sam's Town, the second album from The Killers. They were following up the massive record Hot Fuss, which I absolutely love. And I love The Killers because they tried to do something different and expand the sound on every album, or do a different concept. And they are such a good band when it comes to that, because they could have got lumped into just Hot Fuss, because that record was so huge and it would have been so easy to just do the sequel to Hot Fuss. But Sam's Town is super good. It's way more Heartland rock, way more Springsteen influenced than like new wave, like the debut, but really good. Obviously, When You Were Young, that's the huge song on this record. But For Reasons Unknown is one of my favorites. Bling, Confession of a King, one of my favorite songs as well. This record is kind of overlooked in the catalog, I would say, because especially after Hot Fuss, I think a lot of people jumped off the wagon. Still sold 5 million copies in the U.S., which is absolutely insane. But yeah, 20 years for Sam's Town. I can't believe it. If you've never listened to The Killers, man, give it a shot. If you don't like Hot Fuss, you might like this record, because it is very different. So check it out if you haven't. Another massive formative record for me. I remember the day that I borrowed this CD from a kid in earth science class, sophomore year. And my life was forever changed, because I became exposed to Swedish melodeath and a guitar tone that I absolutely love, and production techniques that are just earworms to me, and a band that I adore to this day, and that's In Flames with Come Clarity. I understand there's a lot of In Flames fans, a lot of the old school In Flames fans that don't like this record and don't like stuff post like 2000. I really celebrate the entire catalog of the band. I can find something to like, but I don't mind like more metalcore and melodic metal. And this record to me is like the perfect capsule of the old In Flames with the new In Flames. And they've been saying that for years. Every record comes out, oh, this captures the old sound. I truly believe this is kind of the perfect bridge. It's not leaning one way too far, one way or another. Obviously, Take This Life was such a huge song. Leeches, Reflect the Storm is a great one. The title track, Crawl Through Knives. There are so many good songs on this record. I still spin it a few times a year. And it's a formative record for me, because it's got me into more extreme music, more heavier music with harsher vocals and melodies. And yeah, I credit this record with a lot of my love for Swedish melodeath as well. So In Flames, Come Clarity, absolute classic. Alrighty, guys, let's keep the train moving here. Another band that I saw live in 2006. A lot of these bands I saw live. You're going to see a kind of theme here. Some of these bands played Ozfest in 2006 and 2006, 2007, that era. And yeah, that was obviously hugely influential to me in exposing me to other genres of metal and more extreme versions of the music. So this is a band that I did see at Ozfest, not this year. It was the Free Fest. I can't remember which year that was, but this record dropped this year, and it was absolutely hugely influential to me and my listening, and I absolutely love it. My wife adores this record too. But that's Lordi with the Apocalypse. Really good hard rock, heavy metal record. And I remember when they came out here in the States, and especially when they were on Ozfest, a lot of the U.S. fans, they're from Finland, and a lot of the U.S. fans really were just baffled by this band. And they were comparing them to Gwar, and I'm like, that's not at all what they're going for. They're just Kiss fans. So this is for Kiss fans, heavy metal fans, hard rock fans. They're huge fans of Kiss, Alice Cooper, King Diamond, Accept, Twisted Sister, that type of stuff. Those are the sounds you're going to hear on this record. They put on a great live show. Man, I wish they would hit the States maybe one more time. That would be really cool. I don't know how well that would do, but that would be fun. I would go see it. This record I spun all the time. Super catchy, super melodic, great solos. You got some great guests on here with Udo from Accept, JJ French, and Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, Bruce Kulick from Kiss. So yeah, they wear their influences on their sleeves. So don't look at the image of the band and think Gwar. Think Kiss. Like, that's what they're going for. Everybody's a character, just like Kiss was. That's the whole point. Mr. Lordi is a huge Kiss fan. So yeah, this is a great record though. Hard rock hallelujah. It Snows in Hell. Great ballad with a great solo in that. Who's Your Daddy? Fun song. They Only Come Out at Night. Man, what a fun freaking song that is. Night of the Living Dead. A lot of cool tracks on this one. So check it out if you never have. If you never give Lordi a chance, I think you'll enjoy it. Alrighty, guys, let's keep the train moving here with some black metal, some atmospheric black metal from Austria, no less. And that is Summoning with their 6th full-length album, Oathbound. I would suggest Summoning to pretty much anybody who wanted to get into black metal. It's a lot easier to listen to than like your typical Norwegian black metal. And if you're into Lord of the Rings, this is the record for you, which is funny because I'm not really into Lord of the Rings. I love Tolkien. I love him and his story and kind of find that more interesting than honestly Lord of the Rings. But honestly, everything I love has been influenced by Lord of the Rings, or it's The Hobbit, or Silmarillion, that whole Tolkien universe. And this record, no less, super good, super atmospheric. If you want real drums, this isn't the record for you. But if you want a really cool atmosphere of, think you're, marching through Mordor, this is the record for you, man. And they've spawned so many imitations over the years. But yeah, Oathbound, really cool record. It's 20 years old this year. Alrighty, let's keep it going with some more black metal-esque stuff in that vein. 9th studio album by this Norwegian band, Rune from Enslaved. Really good record. Enslaved, along with Summoning, is another band I would recommend to somebody that wanted to get into black metal, especially somebody that's into prog. If you're into 70s prog, this record and a lot of their records are dripping with 70s prog. And if you can get into the harsher vocals by Grudel, you will grow to appreciate Enslaved, because there's a lot to love if you're a 70s prog rock fan. So they perfectly combine black metal, Viking metal, and prog, and that's what we get. Enslaved, they're one of a kind. This record is really good, man. Like, all their records don't miss. They know what they do, and they do it really well. And like I said, check it out if you're into 70s prog and you've ever wanted to listen to any black metal. Enslaved, I highly suggest any of the Enslaved records, especially in the kind of this era, kind of mid 2000s on. But this record's a great place to start as well. Another massive album in my metal journey and my music journey in general came out in 2006. The 3rd album from this band, and that is The Fall of Ideals from All That Remains, Massachusetts. metalcore band, and this record really blew up because they kind of leaned way on more into the melodic sound. Their first two records are way heavier. This record has a lot of the clean choruses. It's produced by Adam D from Killswitch, so very similar vibes to Killswitch, from the same area. All those dudes are friends. So yeah, this record is an absolute banger. I still love it to this day. If you're into melodic metalcore, you know this record. If you're not, I suggest start here. This Calling, huge song. 6, obviously a huge song from Guitar Hero, was super, super big at the time. Not Alone, it's a really good song. Saw these guys on Ozfest too, and that's what really got me into them. And this record's been with me ever since. So yeah, All That Remains, The Fall of Ideals, turning 20 this year. Crazy. Let's keep the train moving. Let's go to some more like radio-friendly stuff that I was listening to at the time that I still enjoy to this day. Let's go with Stone Sour with Come Whatever May. The second album from this band, Corey Taylor and Jim Root. Yeah, it's Jim Root from Slipknot. This was their kind of side project they did, and I was always way more of a Stone Sour fan than a Slipknot fan. I never really got into Slipknot for whatever reason. I don't know if it was the fans or whatever, the hype. They just never really appealed to me at all. But this record and the first Stone Sour record really did appeal to me. I really, really love these albums. And I'll admit today, this one was a harder listen. It's a longer record. It's almost 50 minutes. And a lot of the lyrical content, like, I can only take so much, mid-aughts politics here, talking about George Bush. That's kind of the fine line you ride when you want to talk about stuff that's timely and topical at that time, because it's going to date it to that time. Not that stuff couldn't be relevant today. It's just like, this is going to be, all that I'm thinking about when I'm listening to this record, which is whatever. But there's a lot of good songs on here. Made of Scars, Through Glass, 30-31-50. That's the lead track, is a really cool song. So yeah, if you've never given Stone Sour a shot and you just want some good, well-made, heavier hard rock that's made for the radio, this record still holds up today. A little bit dated on the lyrics, but nonetheless, I like it. And I always dug Corey Taylor's voice. He is a good front man for all the shit that he gets. He is a really good front man. And seeing them live a couple times on this tour, they were absolutely awesome. So yeah, Stone Sour, Come Whatever May. We had a reunion of sorts in 2006. The classic lineup of this band reunited and dropped this record in 2006, and that's Slayer with Christ Illusion. And probably the last great to good Slayer record. I don't know if great. It's a good record. It is a good record. I was re-listening to it today, and I'm like, there is a lot of good stuff on here, but there's a lot of bad Carrie songs, and I can only take so much Carrie King lyrics. But yeah, you had Jeff Hanneman still alive, still going, and they brought back Dave Lombardo, so obviously the drumming is great. This record's only 38 minutes too, so it doesn't overstay its welcome, which I do appreciate. Honestly, I'd probably say my favorite tracks are the Tom and Jeff songs. Eyes of the Insane, Jihad, those two tracks are really cool. Black Serenade, also another cool song, another Tom and Jeff song, not coincidentally. But yeah, this is a really good record, and I think it's kind of slept on in the catalog. Maybe not. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch some Slayer rankings or do one myself and see where this would come in at. Definitely not higher than the classic stuff, but it's probably the best record they've done since then, like since, the mid-90s. I would guess. So yeah, Slayer, Christ Illusion, still cool. And I remember when this came out, there was so much hype around it. There was so much controversy with the cover and the lyrical content and the videos. And there was just a lot of hype around the record too, obviously, with Dave coming back on drums. So that it holds a special place in my heart because of all that and the nostalgia of the hype. So yeah, still holds up though. Still a good record. Alrighty, let's keep going, change it up here with probably the best American radio rock band there has been in the last 25 years, and that's Breaking Benjamin with their third studio album, Phobia. This record I've spun a billion frickin' times. I've heard these songs a billion times. It never get old, super catchy. Just super melodic, pretty heavy, pretty big pretty epic riffing, and just great production. All their records have great production, and Ben's voice is great. I love Ben's voice. Just fits that kind of radio rock sound like perfectly. Pulls it off live too, which is super impressive. This record is a massive album. Over 5 million copies sold in the U.S. Diary of Jane, a huge song. Breath, obviously a huge song. Evil Angel's a really good one. Until the End, Dance with the Devil. I've spun this record constantly in my truck. And that's another thing. A lot of these albums I had on CD, and I was just getting my license. So, like, that's a huge deal. And, man, you just put it in a CD and drive around. And that was this record for me. So I still absolutely love the band, and this is such a good record. Still holds up. I can't believe it's 20 years old. It's making me feel old as hell. But yeah, I absolutely dig it. If you've never given it a shot and you do like some more of the melodic kind of post-grunge stuff, start here. Start with this record. It's easily, for my money, it's their best album. They really don't have a bad album, but yeah, Phobia from Breaking Benjamin. Super good. Spin it to this day. Let's go with a kind of controversial pick, I guess. I don't know. It was at the time because when the band toured, they played this album entirely, and people did not like that. I would have liked that because I really like this record. But Iron Maiden dropped A Matter of Life and Death. What a good cover. Probably one of the last great Iron Maiden covers. I don't know. The last few, like the Book of Souls, Senjutsu. Final Frontier is pretty good. But they're just kind of getting lazy. But anyways, Matter of Life and Death. I really like this record. Production, it's not terrible. It's definitely not the worst modern Maiden production, but it is what it is. It was the longest in runtime Iron Maiden record for a long time, but I think Book of Souls blew past that. But yeah, this record is still very, very good for modern Maiden. And I think of the three, I kind of group Brave New World, Dance of Death, and this record together, and then the previous the last three records kind of in their own category. I feel this might be the weakest one, but the highs are probably significantly higher for me. Like Reincarnation of Benjamin Brieg. Love that song. For the Greater Good of God. Love that song. Super long, but super good. The Longest Day is a pretty good song. Kind of gets a little samey there. Brighter Than a Thousand Suns. Did dig that one quite a bit. These Colors Don't Run. That's a fun song. That's got some Bruce penmanship on there. So I tend to go for more Bruce and Adrian songs. Different World. Pretty good opener. Definitely the catchiest, shortest, most accessible song in this record. I think it still holds up. I honestly think, I don't remember where I ranked it on my ranking, but I think I would probably put this above like Senjutsu, above Final Frontier for sure. Yeah, and probably even above Book of Souls. Like of modern Maiden, it's certainly in the higher echelon of the reunion era with Bruce. So yeah, it's hard to believe this is 20 years old. And one of my first exposure to Iron Maiden, like releasing a record and me like realizing they're releasing an album is this album. And my friend across the street, Dalton, had a poster of the Benjamin Brieg single. The single cover. He had like a poster of that, which was super cool to me. And yeah, I still dig this record. I don't spin it often, but yeah, it's a good one as far as the reunion era goes. Let's move on over to Germany with this band's 8th studio album. German power metal band Blind Guardian dropped this album in 2006, A Twist in the Myth. I really like this record. I like most of the songs on this record. Otherland, Turn the Page, Fly, Carry the Blessed Home, Another Stranger Me, Scalds and Shadows is an excellent ballad. Blind Guardian does ballads better probably than any power metal band or any band in general. Great ballads. My biggest gripe with this record is the production. It is very clean, but honestly almost like super digital and like just super compressed to me. I would love a remix of this album. Yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with German power metal, you're familiar with this. If you want to check out Blind Guardian, I definitely wouldn't start here. I would start with Nightfall and Middle Earth. But this is a solid modern Blind Guardian record. Definitely not close to their most recent album, which blows this away. But Fly is such a fun and catchy song. I wish when we saw them live a few years ago, they would have played it. They don't tour in the States often. But yeah, Another Stranger Me, like I said, is another good one. Otherland, another good song. There is good tracks on here. I just wish it would get a remix and like a proper mix. Like, give me some crunch to the guitars. Give me a little bit of griminess. It's almost so polished and so perfect. Like I said, it just sounds digital and honestly almost muddy in that sense. Like some of the guitars and the drums and the bass just kind of get mixed all together, which is a shame because there's a lot of good playing on this album. So yeah, that's my biggest gripe, the production, but still a solid release from Blind Guardian. Getting into the home stretch here, got another one that I don't own a copy of, which is this. I thought I did, and it's like one of those things where it's bugging the hell out of me. But anyways, that's the third full-length studio album and the major label debut from this band that absolutely blew them up. The Atlanta-based band Mastodon released Blood Mountain in 2006. Yeah, what a great record for them. Blew them up into the mainstream, and they've quickly just built on that and are consistently one of the biggest bands touring in metal today. I love a lot of the early Mastodon. I really came into the band with the next record, though, Crack the Sky, so I really love the progginess and the 70s era prog influence of those records on. But honestly, like if you're going to go back to older Mastodon, you want a good bridge, Blood Mountain is a good bridge because it combines kind of that older, really heavy, harsh style with kind of where they wanted to go and adding more melody and clean vocals to the records. Really good record. Crystal Skull is a great song. The Wolf is Loose. Circle of Sisquatch. Colony of Birchmen. A lot of these songs they still play live. It's a beloved album. So yeah, it was kind of blew them up into the semi-mainstream. And the next record even did that more so and got a ton of radio play, at least where I'm at. So yeah, Blood Mountain, 20 years old. That's crazy to me. Another super formative record for me. This band's, what was it? Fourth studio album by American metalcore band Killswitch Engage. That's As Daylight Dies. Man, Killswitch Engage is a super formative band for me. End of Heartache. That record, the previous record to this in 2004 was even more important to me. I like this record quite a bit, but End of Heartache is the better album top to bottom. But As Daylight Dies was a super good follow-up. My Curse was such a big song. That video was so huge. And Howard's vocals were so impressive at the time. The production on this is great. Adam D did such a good job on that. The melodies that they captured, the clean vocals, the harsh vocals, just a really masterful kind of modern metalcore record. Arms of Sorrow, another good song. This obviously had the Holy Diver cover too, if you buy the deluxe edition, which some people love or hate. I don't necessarily dislike it. I could take it or leave it, to be honest with you. I much prefer the original, obviously, but it's not offensive to me. But My Curse, man, I still jam that to this day. It still comes up in playlists, and I love that song. And this whole record, man, it still holds up. So yeah, Killswitch Engage with As Daylight Dies. As I'm doing this, I'm realizing like how many of these records really shaped my life, which is super crazy. That's why I love doing these and looking back and feeling that nostalgia and being like, okay, I listened to this and that's how I ended up here, and why I like these bands today, because these bands crack that door open, and this was certainly one of them. Dragonforce with Inhuman Rampage. This record was obviously massive. It's a gold record in the States, which is crazy for a band like this. Like, you could say what you want about Dragonforce, but it's not like accessible music. The shortest track on here is over 5 minutes long. It's just massive guitars, massive guitar shredding the whole time. Power metal. And one of the most like they call it extreme power metal. It's power metal to the nth degree, and to the point where the cheesiness just drips down them And I still love them, man. They're still going today. Good on them. They're still making waves, still making records. They still have their diehard fans. I will always love that early era of the band, like the first 3 albums. I absolutely adore. The 4th one's very good too. Basically the ZP albums when ZP was on vocals. Those are my records. I kind of fell off after that. But yeah, Through the Fire and Flames, obviously a massive song, obviously in Guitar Hero, just like the hype sticker says. And that's what really blew them up. But the whole record's really good. If you've only known them for that song, I was just giving the whole record a try. Revolution Death Squad, Operation Ground and Pound, really good song. Yeah, there's a ton of good gems on here, man. And it's a shame they kind of got lumped into like, oh, they're one-hit wonders or whatever. But good on them for keep doing what they're doing, and they do it well. And it seems like Herman is such a good dude. That dude deserves all the success he can get. So yeah, Dragonforce, Inhuman Rampage, hugely influential to me too in like discovering power metal, and like there's, you know, this whole other genre, and then finding Blind Guardian and finding Halloween. Like that's what people don't understand when they shit on these bands like Killswitch and Dragonforce. Like this cracks the door for a lot of people. So I will really never shit on those bands. Some bands I don't like Slipknot, but I'll never shit on Slipknot, man. They crack the door for so many fans to discover so much good music. So good on them. And Dragonforce is one of those bands. So yeah, Inhuman Rampage, 20 years old. Holy shit, I am feeling old. Almost done. Let's go back to Sweden here. Another Melodeath band, Amon Amarth, with their 6th studio album, with Odin on our side. I remember the day that I came home. It was a Saturday night. Me and my brother and my brother's friend, who is kind of my friend too, we went to a car show. And I remember driving home. And I drove home and I threw on Headbangers Ball on MTV2. And they played the video for Cry of the Blackbirds. That's the first time I ever heard Amon Amarth, and I was hooked ever since, really. That song hooked me. I love the melody. I love the image. I love the kind of gimmick of the Viking metal. I loved all of that. And that led me to discovering so many other bands like Enslaved, Bathory, and like, what is this Viking stuff? You know, really, really cool. Another great kind of kick the door open band for a lot of people. This record, though, is a banger still. Valhalla Awaits Me, Runes to My Memory. Like I said, Cry of the Blackbirds. That's a really good song, too. Absolutely adore this record. I still spin it quite a bit. And they're a fun band, man. They're like the AC/DC of Melodeath to me. Like all the records just kind of blend together. But certain ones stand out to me in the catalog. And this is certainly one because of that moment. Just seeing the video and like, holy shit. This is super interesting. I didn't know this existed. So yeah, Amon Amarth with Odin on our side. Awesome record. A band that is super unappreciated, doesn't get talked about at all. They've been defunct for a long time, but Hurt dropped Volume 1 in 2006. I saw these guys open for Alice in Chains on the reunion tour when Alice in Chains came back. And this band kind of blew up on local rock radio. Like our local rock station was playing the hell out of these guys. They're kind of like a progressive post-grunge, not really new metal. They kind of got lumped into new metal, but they aren't. That was the big thing about Hurt, is Capitol Records never knew how to promote this band. And they are certainly heavy, but I would say if you like Alice in Chains, if you like Soundgarden, if you like that era of 90s hard rock and grunge, Hurt would be for you, but way more progressive than those bands, way more experimental with their sounds and their instrumentation and lyrics. This record is a hugely formative record to me. I've spun this record a million times. I highly recommend it to anybody that wants something with really good melody, really amazing vocals by Jay Lauren, some violin in there that Jay plays, which absolutely adds just a great layer to a lot of songs. Check out Rapture. That was the big single off this record. You could check that out. Falls Apart was another single on this record. Dancers Say, a great ballad. I love it to this day. Hurt Volume 1. It's this record makes me feel super old because this record was so influential for me and my brother. And I remember when he kind of discovered this band and when they started getting radio play. And every year KUPD would do basically their top 100 songs every New Year's Eve. So if they would play 100 songs in a row, no commercials. And one year, I think it was Rapture was number one. And that was like, holy shit, this is their most requested song. So they were really blowing up here, like in the Phoenix area. And they would tour here constantly. I saw them so many times around this era. And I wish they were still a band to this day. Super talented guys. Jay is a super talented dude. So yeah, Hurt Volume 1. I could talk about this record for hours. Check it out if you haven't. Highly recommend it. Last, but certainly not least, let's go with Cannibal Corpse. Let's go with Kill. 10th album by Cannibal Corpse. Probably the most basic Cannibal Corpse cover ever. I'm not a huge Cannibal Corpse fan. If I'm going to listen to like some like classic era death metal bands, I prefer Death or Morbid Angel. Like those are usually what I gravitate to. This record, however, I absolutely adore. It's just 42 minutes of brutality. They down-tuned on this record, so it's just way crunchier, sounds way heavier to me. This is basically the classic era of the band, too. For me, anyway. Again, I'm not a huge fan, so there might be other eras that people like. The Barn. I know there's a lot of Barnes fans out there, but to me, this is the lineup. The production on this record is stellar. Make Them Suffer. One of their biggest songs. Great freaking song. 5 Nails Through the Neck. Death Walking Terror. There's some bangers on this album, man. 13 tracks. It doesn't overstay its welcome, too. A lot of this kind of death metal, too, can get samey for me and, like, super grating. This record, no. When I listen to this record, I just like, yeah, perfect amount of time. Get in, 42 minutes, get out. I'll see you again in a few months or another year, and I'll spin you again and enjoy it. So, yeah, Cannibal Corpse, Kill from 2006. That's it, guys. 20 records from 2006 that absolutely shaped my listening experiences in my life. What are some records that you've loved from 2006? Did I miss anything? Obviously, there's a ton of music. Not as much as now, but there was a ton of music coming out in 2006. So, if you like this video, if you made it this far, you might as well hit the like button, subscribe, hit that button down below, and we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.